And we're back with something brand new, and that's we're going to be doing a tutorial series on Town of Salem. I get a lot of questions in my Twitch streams, YouTube comments, and in-game asking how to play this game properly. I'm here to impart my years of knowledge playing Town of Salem on new players to help them get started and be accepted into the community. The objective of this tutorial is to provide a comprehensive overview of the game. There'll be multiple videos split up into their own categories to make the digestion of information easier and to find specific parts. When first starting out, Town of Salem can seem like quite the daunting experience due to the amount of information required of you to understand, respecting the established meta, and understanding the intricacies of the game. There are 15 players split among 3 different factions in the game: Town, Mafia, and Neutral. Town's objective is to root out all evils, primarily killing them through lynching during the day, as well as jailer executes or the use of town killing abilities at night. The Mafia wins when all town and neutral killing roles have been killed. The Mafia are able to attack a player during the night, as well as the neutral killers. Each of the neutral roles all have their own unique win conditions, which will be discussed in detail later. First, we're going to go over the roles in Town of Salem, as it is important that you understand each of the roles and their categorizations. Town role categories are split up into 4 different categories: Town Investigative, Town Protective, Town Killing, and Town Support. The first set of roles are grouped into the Town Investigative category, or TI for short. The TI roles are the town's primary source of information when it comes to finding evils, as well as confirming other town members. The Town Investigative roles are Investigator, Lookout, Sheriff, and Spy. The Investigator is a role that is able to visit a chosen player at night to obtain a list of 3 possible roles that target could be. With this information, you can help lower the potential claim space for a particular person, or even catch them claiming a role that doesn't fit in their investigative results. There are some exceptions to this though, as all targets doused by the arsonist will return Bodyguard, Godfather, and Arsonist. A target that has been visited by the Framer will show as Framer, Vamp, Jester. As well, the Transporter can change invest results when swapping players. The investigative results for Investigator are Investigator, Consig, and Mayor. The Investigator results are grouped into similar abilities to allow for evils to have better fake claiming potential. The Lookout, LO for short, is able to visit someone at night and see at least 3 other people visiting the same target. This is primarily used to confirm town protective roles, but it can also be used to confirm other visiting roles as well as to see who kills a player. The investigative results for Lookout are Lookout, Forger, and Witch. The Sheriff role visits a target at night, determining if they appear to be innocent or suspicious. Although it is important to recognize that not all evil roles will appear suspicious to the Sheriff, or may only appear so under certain circumstances. Roles that are found to be suspicious all the time are Serial Killer, Werewolf on full moon nights, Mafioso, Forger, Framer, Janitor, Consort, Hypnotist, and Ambusher. The Sheriff can also get a suspicious result if the target has been framed by a Framer. The role is very easy to fake, and as such, you should be much more aggressive about claiming it and sharing information. The investigative results for Sheriff are Sheriff, Executioner, and Werewolf. The Spy's active ability allows them to visit a player at night, revealing any direct actions taken against the target, such as roadblocks, attacks, transports, and more. The list of potential messages is rather long. On top of their active ability, the Spy also has a passive ability. This ability allows them to see which players were visited by the Mafia and how many times they were visited. This ability can assist you in outing Mafia targets that have high defense, or it can assist you in outing Mafia roles such as Consorts claiming to be Escort, or Consigs claiming to be Investigator. The investigative results for the Spy are Spy, Blackmailer, and Jailer. The second set of roles are the town killing roles, TK for short. These roles are capable of killing other players. The jailer is a unique role, meaning only one of them may exist in the game at any time. During the day, the jailer is able to select a target to jail at night, allowing them to communicate with the chosen target, blocking them from using their ability at night, and protecting them from being attacked at night. Jailer is Town's most powerful role in that they are easily confirmable, able to execute players, and can act as a role-blocking role. Due to this, a meta has developed around this role, the Jailer meta, which I will discuss later. The investigative results for Jailer are Spy, Blackmailer, and Jailer. Vigilante, Vigi for short, has the ability to shoot a player at night. The Vigilante has up to 3 bullets, allowing them to attack up to 3 separate targets. This does not guarantee that the attack will kill the player if they have high defense or are jailed. There is a downside to this ability, however. If upon shooting a fellow town member, the Vigilante will kill themselves the following night. The investigative results for Vigilante are Vigilante, Veteran, and Mafioso. The Veteran is another unique role with the ability to alert at night up to 3 times, killing any player that visits them regardless of faction, and giving the Veteran basic defense against any attacks. The investigative results for Veteran are Vigilante, Veteran, and Mafioso. Next, we'll talk about the Town Protective roles, commonly referred to as TP. Town Protective role's objective is to protect other town members, particularly high-priority targets that are powerful. The Town Protective roles are Bodyguard and Doctor. The Bodyguard, BG for short, is a role that will give their chosen target immunity at night, as well as killing a person attacking that player, although they will give their life in the process. The investigative results for Bodyguard are Bodyguard, Godfather, and Arsonist. The second Town Protective role is the Doctor, Doc for short. This role heals their target at night, negating any attack on that player. There are certain lethal events that a Doctor cannot heal, including a player ignited by the Arsonist, a target that has been haunted by a Jester, a Vigilante that is committing suicide after shooting a town member. The Doctor also cannot visit a revealed mayor. The investigative results for Doctor are Doctor, Disguiser, and Serial Killer. The third category is Town Support roles, TS for short, and they fit in a much more broad category of objectives than the other categories, as their roles are more diverse. The list of town supports are Mayor, Retributionist, Transporter, Escort, and Medium. The Mayor's active ability is to reveal themselves as the Mayor during the day, making their vote count for 3 instead of the usual 1. This ability allows the Mayor to be instantly confirmed, although at the cost of making them a higher priority target for evils. The other downside is that the Mayor is unable to be healed by a Doctor or whisper other players after revealing. The investigative results for Mayor are Investigator, Consig, and Mayor. The Retributionist, Retri for short, is able to select a dead player in the graveyard at night and use their active ability. However, they are only able to use that one specific player's ability once, but may select a different dead player the next night. For instance, you can select a dead Doctor and use their ability to heal another player, or even use a Vigilante to shoot another player. The investigative results for Retributionist are Medium, Janitor, Retributionist. The Transporter, Trans for short, is able to swap the location of 2 players with one another at night. For instance, if you were to transport target A and B, and Mafia attacks target A, the B player would take the attack instead. This works the same for all other abilities as well. This ability can allow you to save yourself or another town member from death, as the person being targeted will be moved out of the way, but it can also create a large amount of confusion with town investigative results, as their results will be swapped as well. The investigative results for Transporter are Escort, Transporter, and Consort. The Escort is able to distract a player at night, making them unable to use their nightly ability with some exceptions. Some roles are immune to being role blocked, such as other escorts, consorts, retributionists, transporters, and a few others. Escorts, for example, can role block the mafioso and stop them from being able to kill if the godfather is dead. The investigative results for escort are escort, transporter, consort, and hypnotist. The medium, med for short, is able to speak with the dead players at night. They can gather information that would otherwise be lost and communicate that information back to the living. As well, the medium can use their active ability once to speak to a living player at night when the medium is dead. This role is very easy to fake, and as such you should be more aggressive about claiming it and sharing information. The investigative results for medium are medium, janitor, and retributionist. The Mafia roles are just as diverse as the town roles, and often more powerful variants of their counterparts. The roles are able to kill, gather information, or create misinformation for the goal of deception. The Mafia's win condition is based around removing all town members and neutral killing roles from the game through any means necessary. The Mafia members are all able to speak to one another at night, allowing for coordination. The Godfather, GF for short, is the leader of the Mafia, who is able to choose a target at night to attack, sending the mafioso out to do so if they aren't dead or roadblocked. Otherwise, the Godfather will visit himself. The GF has basic defense against attacks and will appear innocent to the sheriff. The investigative results for Godfather are Bodyguard, Godfather, and Arsonist. The mafioso is also able to choose a player to attack at night, although their choice is overridden by the Godfathers. However, you should still choose a target to attack and generally advise to attack the same target as your Godfather in the event that they are role-blocked. Investigative results for Mafioso are Vigilante, Veteran, Mafioso, and Ambusher. The Blackmailer, BMer, is a more powerful version of the Spy. They're able to silence a target using their active ability at night, making them unable to speak during the following day. On top of that, they're able to passively read whispers of all players in the game during the day. The investigative results for Blackmailer are Spy, Blackmailer, and Jailer. The Consort is the Mafia's version of the Escort, being able to roadblock a chosen target at night. For example, the Consort can stop a Jailer from executing a fellow Mafia, can roadblock a TP claim to stop them from protecting, or roadblock a TI claim to stop them from getting results. The investigative results for Consort are Escort, Transporter, Consort, and Hypnotist. Consigliere, Consig for short, is a more powerful investigator as they were able to get the exact role instead of 3 potential roles. The investigative results for Consig are Invest, Consig, Mayor. The Janitor, Janny for short, is able to choose a target at night that hides their role, changing it to cleaned, as well as removing their will if the player dies that night. They have 3 uses of this ability, and a charge will be consumed regardless of whether or not the ability succeeded. The investigative results for Janitor are Medium, Janitor, and Retributionist. The Framer can choose a target at night to frame, which changes their investigative results to Framer, Vampire, Jester, as well as making them appear suspicious to a sheriff. This effect lasts until the target is checked by a town investigative roll. The investigative results for the Framer are Framer, Vampire, and Jester. The Forger is able to visit a target at night, changing how their role appears and changing their will if the target dies that night. This ability only has up to 2 charges and will also be consumed whether or not the ability succeeds or not. The ability to change roles and wills allows for Mafia to cause confusion and misinformation. Investigative results for Forger are Lookout, Forger, and Witch. The Disguiser can disguise a Mafia member as another player to change their investigative results, as well as making them appear as they are visiting the target they are being disguised as. Changing this result allows for better fate claiming potential for Mafia as well as causing confusion. The investigative results for Disguiser are Doctor, Disguiser, and Serial Killer. The ambusher can choose a target at night and will kill one of the players visiting their target too. The downside is that if more than one player visits the target, all remaining players who do will be notified of the ambusher and given their name. This role allows for Mafia to have more killing potential at the cost of discoverability. Investigative results for ambusher are Vigilante, Veteran, Mafioso, and Ambusher. The hypnotist chooses a target at night that will receive a fake message to make it appear as though something happened to them that actually didn't. For example, you can make the target think that they were witched, transported, attacked and healed, etc. This ability allows for the hypnotist to deceive town and create confusion. The investigative results for hypnotist are escort, transporter, consort, and hypnotist. Neutral roles fit into two different categories, neutral killing and neutral evil. Neutral killing's role's objective is to kill everyone besides neutral evil roles, including both town and Mafia. Neutral evil's roles each have their own unique win conditions, which we will discuss. The serial killer, SK for short, simply wants to kill everyone. They're able to choose a target at night to attack. They will also attack and kill any escorts who roadblock them at night, and the jailer if the jailer jails them, unless they activate their active ability at night, Cautious. When a roleblocking role is killed this way, their will is bloodied, making it impossible for the players to know what was written in it. The SK only has a basic attack, meaning they won't kill anyone with high defense. The investigative results for serial killer are Doctor, Disguiser, and Serial Killer. The werewolf is also tasked with killing everyone. However, they are only able to attack on even nights, aka full moons, until the 4th day. Their attack is different though, as they, instead of just killing their target, also kill anyone visiting their target. If the werewolf is rollblocked, they will be forced to stay at home and will kill the rollblockers as well as anyone who visits the werewolf that night. The werewolf will also attack and kill the jailer if they are jailed on a full moon night. The werewolf has a powerful attack which is able to kill anyone with basic defense or below. The investigative results for werewolf are sheriff, executioner, and werewolf. The arsonist takes a more stealthy approach to killing. Instead of outright killing, the arso will douse their target or anyone visiting the arso that night with gasoline, which will stay on them until they are killed. Any night, the arso can choose to ignite, killing all players that are doused. Anyone doused will have their investigative results changed to that of the arsonist. The investigative results for arsonist are bodyguard, godfather, and arsonist. Moving on to the neutral evils, we have the witch, who can win with mafia or any neutral killing, as their only objective is to see the town destroyed. The witch can only win while alive though. The ability allows them to control a player at night, steal the results of that ability, blocking the controlled player from seeing those results, as well as giving the witch the role of the controlled person. The witch effectively acts as a role blocker and investigator all in one. They also have a shield that will stop one attack at night. The investigative results for witch are lookout, forger, witch. The executioner has one objective only, and that's to get their target lynched at all cost. The target given to them will be a town member with a few exceptions, such as jailer and mayor will never be their target. Executioners rely on deception to throw suspicion on their target and get them hanged. The executioner has basic defense at night, and if the executioner's target dies at night, the next day their role will be changed to that of the jester. The investigative results for executioner are sheriff, executioner, and werewolf. The jester is hell-bent on getting lynched at any cost. Their only objective is to swing from the rope, and they want to do it in style. They can accomplish this task through making themselves appear suspicious, although not so suspicious as to be obvious. When the jester is successfully lynched, they will get to choose a target that dies at night. This attack cannot be stopped by any means. The investigative results for jester are framer, vampire, and jester. There are some basic rules of Town of Salem, although some of them you will only understand when you play the game as they are unwritten rules. Failure to follow these rules will lower your chances of winning significantly, as well as making your faction members angry. Make sure you fully understand why each of these rules exist and how to do them properly. Making mistakes is a part of the game and will happen to all of us, so be willing to admit your mistakes and improve as a player. With that said, never intentionally game throw, as you will be banned for doing so. In each game mode you play, excluding all any, there is going to be a defined role list. The role list displays how many members of each faction there are, and what claims and roles there are in the game. For example, if you see there's a sheriff in the role list, you know there has to be at least one guaranteed sheriff in the game. In the classic game mode, you have jailer, sheriff, lookout, investigator, doctor, escort, medium, town killing, and a random town slot. The random town slot can be filled by any role in the TI, TP, TK, or TS category. Now say for example you are a sheriff and you see that someone else claims sheriff. That to you would be suspicious, since you know well you are the sheriff, and there can only be at most 2 sheriffs in the game, because an RT could be a sheriff. If the random town slot is somehow confirmed, say a mayor reveals, or another sheriff dies, or a role that's not in the defined role list dies, removing the random town slot, you know that the other sheriff claim has to be fake, there's no room for it. Then you can push that player as fake and get them killed. It is very important that you track the role list and pay attention to players that have died, as that confirms them. The primary way you win is through confirming all random town roles, revealing people who are fake claiming. Town wins through coordination and unity. As Town, your primary objective is to build trust with other town members, to get claims from people, inspect their wills, confirm other town members, and to try to catch people who are lying. The way you can accomplish this is by asking them to claim, or having a majority of the members alive vote them up on stand, giving them time to state their case, after which a deliberation and vote takes place deciding the fate of that player. If more people choose guilty over innocent, then the player is killed, revealing their role and will. As a town investigative role, you should be sharing your information with the town, trying to push people to claim, and potentially catch fake claimers or fake wills. As town protective, you should be paying attention to high priority targets that are confirmed and consider protecting them at night, as well as contributing any useful information you manage to obtain. As town support, you should be sharing information as well, trying to confirm yourself with that information. As town killing, you should be paying attention to people who are being suspicious and consider using your ability to kill them. Voting for a role is an item of controversy, but is generally considered to be a part of the established meta in the game. Voting for role is to start at the topmost player and vote them up to get their claim. From there you can move down and keep voting up the next player until you either exhaust all 3 of your opportunities to do so, run out of voting time, or find a likely evil and press guilty. It is important that you always claim on stand and give any information you have. Failing to do so will result in you being killed. The TPLO meta is when a player, typically the jailer, will claim publicly day 1 and ask all town protective roles and lookouts to be on them during the night. This is not only to protect the player from death, but to confirm the town protective roles to the lookout. Regardless of your thoughts on the meta, failing to go on the TPLO request will likely result in your own death by hanging, lowering your chances of winning if you're town. As an escort or spy, it is wise to go on the TPLO request to confirm yourself to the lookout. You might ask yourself, why would I want to openly claim? I would just die then, won't I? Dying is always a possibility, and this is a part of the game. But dying can be how town confirms roles. For example, confirming random town slots, or just to catch people lying. Living through the entire game doesn't guarantee you will win. Your faction can still win the game for you from the grave. Being selfish with your information will only lower your faction's chances of winning. I cannot express how important it is to counterclaim, aka CC, your claim space is. To counterclaim is to say ICC when someone within the same claim space as you, for example TI, TP, TK, or TS, claims their role. Say you're a vigilante and someone claims vigilante, you should respond with ICC-TK as soon as I can. Not only does this make town trust you a lot more, it will help fill out the role list, making it harder for evils to fake a claim. This works for all 4 of the categories, so it is important that you understand which one of your roles that category is. Keeping track of information using your will. Wills are the primary way you keep and share your information. Learning to properly write a will is essential to playing Town of Salem. You should be using your will/notes area to track all information you obtain, as well as tracking claims from other players in the game. You should be tracking what you're doing at night and recording the results of those actions. It is very important that you keep an accurate and up-to-date will. Some roles will have unique ways of writing their wills, and it's important that you be able to write and decipher those messages. You can use the will to keep track of random town claims, since this is the second most important piece of information you should be paying attention to. Your will be publicly displayed when you die. In conclusion, this is a very brief overview of the core components of Town of Salem. There's a lot more in-depth information that you will need to know, but just for getting started and getting the general idea, as long as you follow these ideas and as long as you understand each of your role in the role category, you should be able to do just fine and you'll be able to catch up and learn quickly.